All right. Welcome to another edition of The Insiders. I'm Todd mortgage banker at Lakeside Bank. With us today, we have Georgeann Weisman from Brokerworks Group Real Estate, right? Georgeann, how are you?
Good, good. Good afternoon on this rainy day today, but
Yeah,
doing good.
doing good. Well, thanks for joining us. I'm really looking forward to this interview. I know it's going to be fun. So,
Yeah, thanks for inviting me.
yeah. So, Georgeann, you are in real estate and you cover quite a large area. You and I met through social media, and I know you're based in Northwest Indiana, but you're also doing business all the way out in Rockford, Illinois.
Yeah.
So you're kind of like a little bit all over, putting
Yes.
some miles on your car.
Oh
But
yeah. Oh yeah.
so give us and the listeners a little background on you, and let's stick with your real estate business because we got a surprise coming up. There's another part of you we want to talk about, but let's talk about your real estate business, how you got into real estate and how that's going.
Sure. So I got in at the best time, 2007, right? Everyone told me don't do it, but I got in.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had no one I knew did real estate. I had no kind of mentors, but I wanted something where, like everyone says, give you freedom and make your own schedule and make lots of money. So I got my license in '07, and I actually loved it because the market was bad. Everything was coming down. So I really got to learn how to prospect and short sales and pre-foreclosures, REO properties, and really got the terminology down and learning all these situations that make me a better agent now because I've been through a lot of bad, so that's kind of how I got into it, just wanting to do a different career where I could, kind of be flexible with my schedule. But, as we both know, that's not true.
No, we just talked before we started recording. We're on call 7 days a week. So
Yeah.
what did you do? What did you do before real estate?
Sure. So I was doing some retail stuff. I was a licensed nail tech. So when I was going to college, I went to Columbia College in Chicago. I was studying, music business management, and I got my nail tech license because it took 6 months, and I liked it. But I wasn't that great at doing nails. I was good at talking and being personable, but the technical part, I'm like, so that's where I kind of came from.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about Brokerworks. What kind of firm do you work at? What kind of deals do you work on?
Yeah. So I was with all these big box brokerages, like Caldwell Bankers, the App Properties, the Baird and Warner. And I met my managing broker, Andrew, maybe about 8-9 years ago at NYRA. He had taught a class, and we connected through social media, and I really followed his journey. So he created Brokerworks Group back in 2020. And
Cool.
there was maybe 10 agents there, if that, but I really loved his marketing. I loved his approach. It wasn't like the old ways that maybe don't really work. He's very creative, a lot of young people, surrounding. So a lot of fresh ideas, and let's make this old agent with bad habits turn into get some good habits down, so
Yeah.
so I kind of joined.
What about you? For me, it's when we hang out with young people, we learn things. And
Yes, exactly. So so I made the switch from I moved my Indiana license first because they were based in Northwest Indiana, and then a few months ago I moved my Illinois license over because now they're in Illinois, but they also do Michigan. I'm not licensed in Michigan, but they are in 3 states, so
that's cool.
Yeah. So I love it. I love it.
And then what kind of clients and what kind of transactions have you been focusing on? What do you work on?
Yeah. So, majority of my business would be sellers with maybe 40% buyers. But now with the shift that we're in now, I would say my business has probably done 60% buyers, maybe even 70, and then maybe 30% listings. So my shift now has been buyers.
So buyers on the residential side.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay. And you're doing a little bit of Indiana and Illinois work.
Yeah, I do both. So I'm born and raised in Illinois, although technically I am a Hoosier because by a small technicality, my parents lived in Calumet City and then had me in St. Margaret's Hospital in Hammond. So I guess
there you go.
Hoosier.
Yeah, because you're kind of right on the border there.
Right. So I grew up in Illinois. That's where my home base is. Illinois, and I got my Indiana license about 10 years ago because I was so close to the border. I was referring. So I got my license. So, but now I moved out to Indiana a couple years ago. So I live in Northwest Indiana, but I still cover, Illinois and Indiana.
Love it. Love it. Outstanding. Okay. Well, that's cool. So there's this other thing we're going to talk about, which I think is really cool. So usually when I talk to real estate people, nobody in high school or college knew they were going to be a realtor or a loan officer, but
right.
we all ended up here for whatever reason. And like you, they maybe came from a retail or the food industry or auto, and then they find their way to the real estate industry. But you're a little different. So you got your real estate gig going, you're rocking and rolling, no pun intended, but you're also in the music business. And I think that's super cool. So tell us what you do in music, a little bit of what you've done in music and what you're doing now. I think it's kind of cool.
Sure. So my passion is music. So from a young age, I wanted to do like choreography, and quickly changed that as I got a little bit older, because I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I could do behind the scenes roles. I could do songwriting. I could do management. I could work at a label. So I went to Columbia College because I wanted to follow my passion. And while at Columbia, I got to networking and meeting people. So my first job was the House of Blues. So when I interned at the House of Blues, that's actually when like Dan Aykroyd and Belushi still owned it before they sold to Live Nation. It was still, like the original owners. And I worked in the talent department. That's when I went through like contract writers for artists. And I'm like, I really like this, so I kind of shifted my focus to do management, because when I was at Columbia, I did like recording studio, I did some radio stuff, I did some management stuff, but I'm like, I really wanted to hone in on the management side of music. So I was at the House of Blues. And then from there, I met my boss when I worked at Jive Records. So when I started the music industry, there was like 6 major labels. Now there's I think there's 2 now. Everyone's merging, and music business is kind of,
same in radio.
Failing.
Radio's all merged.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone's like syndicated now. It's really hard to find a local, talent. So then I went from House of Blues. I went to working at Jive Records, where I worked at okay, now I'm going to age myself. They had record stores. So they actually had field marketing reps where they went out to their record stores and make sure their product was on the shelves, and
make sure the vinyl's on the rack.
Right. So, and I also worked for the sales and marketing. So where I had to check SoundScan numbers every day and see who was buying the music and, what stores had it. So that's when I did the music business, when that was there. When I was at Jive, to give you an idea, Backstreet Boys, Britney Spears, that whole explosion, TRL. That's when I was at Jive. So there was a really hot label at that time because those guys were huge, Love it. Yeah. And then from there, I met another boss of mine at Virgin Records. She had a bigger role. She was a national radio promotion rep. So she covered, a wide territory. And I basically did her job. I really was grateful for her because she taught me a lot of what I learned. And then that's when the music business started kind of going downhill, because then she was let go. Therefore, I was let go because there was no more urban marketing, national marketing rep. And I took that and I partnered up with my partner. We started Life Music Group. It was a recording studio, artist management company. We would sign the artists, back them with our money, music, and promote them to try to get, a bigger deal.
Love it.
Yeah.
So something you don't know about me.
Uh-oh.
Before I was in radio before I got in the mortgage business.
No way. Okay.
So I worked at the Loop.
Okay. Yes.
97.9 FM.
Jonathan Brandmeier, right?
Kevin Matthews, Jonathan Brandmeier. Yeah.
Yes.
I was there for the last 4 years till they sold the station. So.
Wow. So you know about these mergers?
I do.
Yes.
I do. The music business is crazy. And back then it was great with radio and labels coming together with artists. And, when I worked at the Loop, man, it was craziness. It was crazy fun.
Yeah.
And we made a lot of money, and, everybody listened, and We did a lot of events, as you know, and
Oh yeah. Oh
it
yeah.
was great.
Right.
So
That was a great, I think that was a great time in music and radio, you know,
it
where
was.
like
It was.
you take a meeting. I don't know if the Loop had it, but like we would take a music day. So like Mondays or Tuesdays was music day where you go up to the stations and you present your music to the music directors and new artists, local
Greg
artists.
Salk was our
Yeah.
guy. I don't know if you ever met
Okay.
him.
Yeah.
Greg was a genius at that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was awesome. It was great.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
well, anyway, you didn't know that? I thought I'd share that with you.
I
So
did not. I did not.
now
That's
look at our paths. We're connected now, and
right. Right. Now we're in real
kinda
estate.
cool. Yeah. You and I could be the rock and roll team. You sell it, I'll fund it,
There
right?
you go.
Love it. So so you got this record thing or this label going. You're looking for artists, you're promoting them, you're doing some cool things.
Yeah.
That whole business has changed into the, segmented so much. It's all online and streaming, which kind of gets me to the next thing about real estate, which, you kind of said these young people are showing us new things.
Mhm.
Our business on the real estate side has really changed the last couple of years. And you kind of said before we started recording this that back in the day, you would send properties for someone to look at, but now the buyer's telling you what they want to look at
Right.
because of the internet and
Yeah.
information.
Yeah.
So we're starting to see a whole transition of information on the web, which in a way I think makes the process easier.
Yeah.
And then you bring in the licensed individual like you and myself to put it together and see it from start to finish. So
Yeah.
is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah, which I don't mind when buyers send me properties, because they're on it 24/7. I might have 10, 12 deals going on or working actively with, 10 or 12 clients. And so I can't really like, specifically, and plus the MLS, you can only search so much, So yeah, so like the beauty of, the internet and properties and Zillows and realtor.com, so that, yeah, buyers can look online, and then send property to say, we want to see this. Is this available? And even, now, for sale by owners, they could list online, and we could see their properties and, and find maybe off market stuff for our clients. So yeah, the internet can be like a gift and a curse, right? Because then also there's a lot of, bad agents out there. There's a lot of bad, scams out there that, happen. So it's, I think the internet, yeah, it could be a gift and a curse.
Yeah. Right. If it's too good to be true, it's too good to be true.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Why don't we try to, kind of wrap this and bring it together? Because I think it's awesome. I mean, you're an incredible individual, and I think there's opportunity for people to work with both of us that they could benefit. I'm going to throw a question at you, and then after you answer, I'll answer from the lending side. In light of everything going on in the world, everything online and all this craziness, and you don't know if it's true or not, and you want to make sure you got your ducks in a row, it's usually the largest investment someone's going to make, largest purchase. What tip or tips would you throw out to today's first-time home buyer? Because they're on the internet trying to get all the information they can before they call us.
Yeah.
But what tip or tips would you share to a first-time home buyer?
Yep. So when I do a consultation with the buyer, I not only ask them like their budget or range, I ask them what they want to spend a month, because $250 purchase price in, Matteson, Illinois. That's where I grew up. So they really touchy about that. Matteson, Illinois, your payment could be over $3,000 depending on the taxes. But if you take that same $250 and go over the border, say in Hammond, now you're looking at maybe a $500, $600, $800 difference a month. So I like to tell buyers initially, like, let's look at like, what do you want to spend monthly? And then kind of educate them on how to look at the taxes, or to say, hey, send me or your lender the property you're looking at, so that way we can run numbers for you. So there's that way you don't fall in love with the home that you go and look at, and then it's out of your budget, So I think I really try to stress that with them. Like, don't look at purchase price. It's, you could look at that, of course, you want to be within a budget, but taxes are really, because your interest rates are a little bit higher right now. So that's why your payments are high. So I try to get what they want to spend monthly. And that's what my advice would be, like definitely get what you want your budget to be, because it's monthly payment, utilities, all that stuff. And that could help us find a better home because, like I said, Indiana or over the border can get you more of a house than maybe, in Cook County, so it just depends on that.
Yeah. And I got to say, that's the first time someone answered that like that. I love that idea. Because you got to live by the monthly payment. You are on the hook for that expense every month. So you better have a good idea what it is. So great idea. Love that. I actually wrote it down. I'm going to remember that.
Yes,
but if the question was being thrown to me, mine is as black and white and as clear as it can be. And not everybody follows this rule. Most people do, but not everybody. Before you get into this game of looking at real estate, you better get your pre-approval done first.
Yeah.
It's really fun to go look at houses. It's fun to play with stuff online. But until you understand your debt to income ratio, what that monthly payment's going to look like, how much money do I need to do the transaction? Not only to buy it, but you got to have money in reserves. You got to have money to fall back on and live on. You need someone to get that all set up before you start going out and thinking about buying a house, because without the money, it doesn't matter what you look at. So I know that sounds kind of bold, but people who don't start with us first, it doesn't make any sense. I'm like, get the money set, right? Get the money in order. And then I always say, once you get the pre-approval done, now go have fun and look at houses. That's the fun part.
Right.
But, I don't know what your thoughts are, but I think you should have your finances in order first.
Right. So, and also too, because someone goes on Zillow, let's say, and how Zillow is kind of tricky because they, sell back the leads to agents. They kind of camouflage the listing agent. They throw out, lenders who pay, realtors who pay to get leads. And then all their information is not actually accurate. So like when I get a lead, or they're already pre-approved, let's just say they're approved with a Chase, they're approved with Rocket,
Not at Lakeside Bank.
Right. I always like to get a second opinion with a local lender, just like you, Todd, because they have different, down payment options, Illinois grants available, Indiana grants available that these national lenders can't do, and times they're not really thoroughly approving because you hate to get halfway through a process and the lender didn't check, your income, or it's all self-reported. And then when you actually go get these numbers, so, working with a local lender like yourself, you're doing all the due diligence up front. You're getting their documents, they're getting them approved. So, it saves a lot of hassle. So I think that, when working with local experts of the market definitely helps, with advantage with making offers, analyzing properties and winning, for our clients.
Yeah, I totally agree. Real estate is a local thing, location, right? It's very easy to go online to find a national real estate company or lender, but I don't think I want somebody sitting in a cave in Ohio doing my deal in downtown Chicago.
Right.
That doesn't make any sense to me. So,
right.
But anyway, any parting words before we say so long to the real estate music podcast?
Right.
Yeah. Anything you want to wrap up with?
Yeah. Again, thank you again for inviting me. It's been a pleasure. I'm always behind the scenes. So being interviewed is a newer experience for me. And I would appreciate, we are your local experts. So call us, right? Call us for all your real estate needs. We can do commercial, we can do residential, and Todd, you're in 50 states. I could do 2 states. So
there you go. I love it.
Good team, right? Good team.
We are. So if you're looking to buy or sell in Northwest St. Anna or Illinois, Georgeann is your person to call. Her contact info will be listed at the bottom. And if you're looking to buy or refi, I can help you, as Georgeann said, in all 50 states with a new mortgage.
Yeah.
So on behalf of Georgeann, I'm Todd Probasco. I want to say thank you for listening to The Insiders and have a great day.
Thank you.